Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez. The Town Council last Thursday met for the third consecutive week and successfully completed the review and approval of the town's fiscal year 2012 operating budget. If you're interested in taking a closer look at those discussions, which included the departmental budgets for the Town Council and the Town Manager's Office, we encourage you to head to our website, town.barnstable.ma.us, and stream the meeting from our video archives. Aside from finishing up the budget, the Council covered a lot of additional territory. We'll get to those highlights in just a moment. But first, as the meeting opened, councilors expressed their sympathies to residents in central and western Massachusetts whose lives were upturned by the tornadoes that touched down the day prior. It also prompted questions to Police Chief Paul McDonald as to how we prepare as a community to handle similar weather emergencies.
A constituent called me last night in the middle of all that storms that were going on in western Massachusetts and asked me if we had a early warning system in this town, and a sirens, or I know that we were working on a reverse 911 at one point, and I was wondering if that has been perfected, or whether, or how we would handle something if something of that magnitude was to hit the Cape.
Good evening, Mr. President, Town Councilors. We were in contact with MEMA all through the day yesterday, and we do currently have a reverse 911 system that is throughout the entire town, which became activated April 1st.
To follow up, so if we were to have a tornado warning, then it would automatically call all the households in Barnstable?
Correct. We go through the town manager, through the police department, and then we would send out the message. Correct.
Because very often you only have, what, a half an hour to 15 minutes warning, so would that be sufficient?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It would take it would take approximately 7 minutes to contact everyone in the town of Barnstable.
We recognize that the governor's called the National Guard out to deal with some of the problems in the area. And some of the reports that I'm getting back now are many of the men are standing around waiting for something to do. And I was just wondering about our organization here, if there's a call for help, how would something like that be handled here in this region?
We have a mutual aid through the Cape Cod Regional Law Enforcement Council through all 15 towns. Our first mutual aid response would be through our neighboring towns, then through the state police, then through the governor's office and the National Guard.
When the National Guard becomes mobilized, will we have specific duties for them to do, or how will that work?
Absolutely. We have a comprehensive emergency management plan in place. I am the emergency management director. I would accept full responsibility and handle those duties.
Later in the meeting, the council considered adopting a provision in state law that would require all future municipal retirees to transfer from a conventional health insurance plan to Medicare. Here, Finance Director Mark Milne explains how this would benefit the town, taxpayers, and public employees.
18A will require all future retirees to automatically enroll in Medicare when they become eligible. It does not affect existing retirees. What this will do is it will allow us to save money, number one, as well as it will save the retiree money because they'll be participating in Medicare, which many of them have contributed to over their life of employment, and we have matched their contribution at 1.5% of their salary over their working career as well. So they would participate in Medicare, saving money for themselves, saving money for the town, and decreasing our unfunded liability associated with health insurance by a significant amount of money. So when we have an actuarial calculation done to calculate our unfunded liability, the assumptions will change that 0% of our workforce will be retirees will be participating in regular health insurance plans. They will all be participating in Medicare instead, and that will significantly decrease our unfunded liability associated with health insurance.
Mark, you just said that it would save the retiree money. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes, if they continue to participate in a traditional health insurance plan like an HMO or a PPO, the cost of like a family HMO right now is about $200 a week to the employee and $200 a week to the town. If they were to shift, if they were to automatically have to enroll in Medicare, that $200 goes away. And instead, what they would, because they would now be a participant in Medicare. To cover the gap for insurance coverage between what Medicare covers and what a traditional health insurance plan covers, they would purchase what's called a MedX plan. That MedX plan provides gap insurance coverage, but it's much less than $200 per week. And so we match that MedX plan contribution 50%. The employee pays less, the town pays less.
Dissenting counselors raised concerns about the inefficiencies of the Medicare system, but in a close vote, the council adopted the new requirement 7-6. The state legislature is considering an expansion of the bottle bill that would require deposits on bottled water, juice, and tea containers, and so on. Councilor Greg Milne at last Thursday's meeting proposed that the council accept a resolution in support of this new bill. Here's his rationale.
This support that we'd be issuing with our resolution up to the State House, we'd be joining, like I said, about 185 communities. I think it's approaching 200. Is really, number one, about saving municipalities money. Because currently, the municipalities are the ones brunting the cost of the inequities an antiquated bottle bill that we currently have, and the vast majority of states around us long ago, Maine, Connecticut, New York, they have all expanded their bottle bills to these other containers. And then the other aspect of this that folks may not have focused as much of their attention on is this bottle bill change will be the first time in approximately 20 years that the local family businesses that run these redemption centers will finally see an increase. There has not been an increase to the formula as to how they are paid by the distributors in approximately 20 years. You heard our energy coordinator, Richard Elrick, speak very eloquently in support of this. You also heard our Renewable Energy Commission voted unanimously in favor of endorsing these changes to the bottle bill. Now we're looking at almost 2/3 of the state has done likewise. I'm not going to go through each fact because I know we still have a fair amount of agenda left this evening. But I hope my fellow councilors will support this in deference to the time frame. I'll leave it questions. These particular documents that I handed out, I hope everybody had a chance to look at them. You're gonna save energy with this. You're gonna save money for municipalities, and you're gonna save the environment by making the bottle bill effective.
Finally, School Superintendent Dr. Patricia Grenier was before the council requesting the approval of a new 3-year deal for contracted bus services. The request comes after the school department looked into purchasing its own fleet of buses, but stopped short due to some surprising bids. Here's Dr. Grenier.
Many of you are aware that in the past year and a half we have done an extensive exploration of bringing our regular ed transportation in-house. And as part of the sort of prior planning prevents poor performance strategy, we decided to go out to bid to test the market for transportation contracts, hearing that the increase would be substantial, estimated to be 10%, which was driving us to pursue our efforts to bring transportation in-house. The result of, I'd like to believe, the hard work of the people in my department that took this initiative for the past year and a half, we received extremely competitive bids. And for this time, in comparison to last time, there are actually multiple bidders, which was very surprising. Bidders off Cape were actually bidding on Cape, which is maybe a sign of the times still financially. So I am requesting the council's approval to go with a new 3-year, which will start in July 1st, 2012, with an option for 2 additional years. And I believe there's a requirement for when we go into a contract that could extend to 5 years to get the council's approval on that. You will note in the rationale that the cost is minimal. I believe it was like a 2% increase, which is phenomenal. So we really came out on the very positive end of this.
Well, that's all we have for now. Again, for the full council meeting video, check out the video archives at town.barnstable.ma.us. I'm Nick Cortez, and we'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.